Yes, people. What's going on? Welcome back to United View. Welcome to another morning view, solo view with me, myself, Fleck today. I hope that Owen is tucked up in bed under the blankets, mate, because he was doing a marathon last night. Netflix settings, WWE settings. It was a big one. I don't know what matches happened, what fights happened, and I don't know what happened in it. But if you're a follower of Owen Wrestle News 365555555, then you will know all about what was going on in the wrestling world. So shout out Owen. He's catching Zeds right now. Yeah, Owen with a Netflix Raw hangover, 100% says All Elite. Is that as in All Elite Wrestling as well? I do know that. Dub says Flex doing the Caribbean timings. And Kenny Fan TV says Flecknology in full effect, 100%. And you know what? Really, I should really have, it's just been a time thing because the M4 Fizzy, etc., yeah, is here and has been here for a hot minute. But the time of just sitting down with Josh, locking in all the graphics, and yeah, that I need to do that, but just been so busy. But shout out everyone locked in. Let's get it done straight away because I have been slacking on the likes, people. There's been so much going on in all of these streams, in all of these shows. We've been slacking with the likes. We've been slacking. So let's see. I don't know. Not if we see if we can set a record because Owen's not here, but a solo stream. Let's just get a 500. Let's just get a 500 off the bat. Let's just set that and see how we're moving with that. 500 likes, people. Smash a like on the channel and make sure you lot subscribe as well. We got a hell of a lot to talk about. This is where I know the transfer window for us is really, I'll say the rumor mill. I'll say the stories from credible people, though. It's not just a bunch of shit. It's not just a bunch of shit that we're hearing. We're hearing a lot of credible stories, updates, credible rumors, if that makes sense as well. Credible rumors. Man United are busy, or are at least trying to be busy. That's what we do know as a fact. It isn't like January's of the last couple of windows. Well, last season we did nothing. Season before, what was it? Sabitzer and Veghorst, I think. But it's not like last season where we can't do nothing. We are actively trying to move players out. There is active interest in some of our players, and Amorim has even basically pretty much gone on wax and says we're trying to do some stuff. So we need to talk Marcus Rashford because this Inter Milan thing, not Inter Milan, AC Milan thing is, can we say hotting up? We can say developing each day, each minute. So we have to keep an eye on that. We've got a lot of updates about that. We have to talk Casemiro because Al Nassr and just Saudi clubs in general, but Cristiano Ronaldo apparently wants his old teammate to join him in Saudi Arabia, and apparently Casemiro is open to that. There's some stuff from the Times for that. We've also got the Kolo Muani thing. We spoke about that last night on the red carpet, but we'll touch a little bit more on that. Nuno Mendes, left wing back from PSG as well, really good player. There's some discussions there. So there's a hell of a lot. Antony, we have to talk about Antony, Olympiacos links, you know what I'm saying, out there in Greece. So there's a lot of stuff going on. Shout out Lil Yo-Yo, he says Fleckroy. And good morning. Oh, hold on. Good morning, guys, says Old Trafford TV. Hit those likes, says Nikhil. And Kato says, Flex, are you a WWE fan? I would say I'm not an active WWE fan. I don't watch it anymore. But I am definitely an old school, if you call that Attitude Era, WWF, whatever, like all of the old school wrestling, I know all about that. But the new school, I haven't been involved. All Elite says that Bruno Zirkzee debate last night gave me a full-blown headache. KG and Saeed are disgraces. Oh, mate, couldn't stop them. Because ultimately, it is really simple, in my opinion. Bruno is better than Zirkzee in every facet of the game. Like, it's just that simple. Even as a false nine, mate, even if you want to put Bruno false nine, it'd probably be better than Zirkzee. So that's my thing on it. Joe Fleming, first super chat of the day, says beg Liao in exchange for Rashi. Beg, LOL. Well, Liao, mate, got an assist last night. The manager's obviously changed at AC as well. I just can't see. I can't see that, man. But it is interesting if Rashi goes there. But let's get into it. What's been said? What's happening? Let's get into one of the first things that we were seeing sort of last night, really, and actually even before that. I mean, Fabrizio Romano has put his 10 pence in. He said that AC Milan are among several clubs to hold talks to discuss the conditions of a loan deal for Marcus Rashford. In January, more European clubs are expected to approach Man United about a deal. We already know just about that. And there was an update as well, basically saying that AC Milan will face high competition for Rashford all over Europe. That was from Matteo Moretto, because all the Italian media is really starting to hot up on this Marcus Rashford situation. And Simon Jones in the Mail says that Man United will consider loan with obligation to buy offers for Marcus Rashford, and a number of clubs have expressed their interest. So, look, we know what's happening. We can see that they are big suitors. They're big suitors for Marcus Rashford. And Laurie Whitwell also said, one of the aggregators was saying, I don't know exactly when he said it, but that Italy seems like his most likely destination. And our good friend Jamie Jackson, he said Marcus Rashford is being targeted by AC Milan regarding a potential loan, with any deal dependent on Man United paying a sizable portion of his salary. Whether United are willing to do so is yet to be decided. And this is what we're getting with this deal, peeps. This is what we're dealing with with his setup, because the economics of a deal for Rashford are just hard. They're really tough. It's as simple as that. They're really difficult to do. So if Man United aren't willing to subsidize enough wages, Marcus Rashford's just not going to move, unless Marcus Rashford accepts a massive pay cut, which, let's be real, in my opinion, I don't think he's going to do that. I don't think he's going to do that. Marcus Rashford's on the best part of 300 grand a week. Let me just double check that, because because I can. Because when you got this power in the M4, you can just pull up whatever you want really quickly. It's just not that hard, really, is it? But yeah, Rashford's on 300, Bruno's on 300, and Casemiro, as we know, is on 350. So, because there are sometimes it's Marcus Rashford is the highest paid player at the club. He's not, but he's one of. But is he really going to be like, oh, I'll go to AC Milan, I'll go for a new environment, new vibe, but I'll dock my wages by half? He's just not going to do it, or dock my wages by 50 grand a week, 100 grand a week. I don't know. I can't see Rashford doing that. So it's about how willing Ineos are to do that. Do you know what I'm saying? How willing are they to do that? And if we're being honest, we're gonna, like KG said, we're gonna have to be creative. We're gonna have to be creative. Now, I was talking with Kev Hatchard yesterday, obviously European football expert. He was on Sky with us yesterday, and he was just talking about like how interesting it is if Marcus Rashford is actually to go there, because how willing is Marcus Rashford to be, well, not a guaranteed starter, because we have got the situation where Leao is a starting left wing. Obviously, he hasn't been in recent weeks and games since the manager's on his way out, but he normally starts on the left. Last night they played Pulisic on the left, Morata through the middle, Jimenez on the right. You could easily see Rashford going in there on the left. Is Rashford going to become a number 9? Obviously they've got Tammy Abraham as well, so I can't see what that looks like. I don't understand. Like, it's not like he's going to go there and be an automatic starter. He's going to have to go there and work his way into that team. He's going to have to work hard. He's going to have to show it. He's not going to just walk in there and be the god and just start, unless there's something we don't know. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Leao is the main left winger, so there's issues there, and you'd argue, well, right now Leao's better than Rashford. At their best versions, Rashford is a good player. I still don't come away from that. I mean, I think what's happened in this bad period, because Rashi's been so bad for us, we forget that he is a good player. Like, I know some people say he's awful, he's terrible, he's this, he's that. The confidence is gone and he doesn't want to be there. So we're seeing that. But he is a decent. He's not as good as we cracked him up to be. He's not as good as we build him to be. He's still a good player. But Leao is better than him. So I don't know what that looks like if he actually goes there. But this is going to rumble on. I mean, are there other suitors in Italy that can come in? I mean, we haven't heard anything too much from that sort of Juve or Italy, but apparently clubs across Europe are interested in Marcus Rashford, which, look, we knew that. With Marcus Rashford being available, teams are going to pick up the phone and look at what it is. Do you know what I'm saying? What are you guys saying in the chat? Old Trafford TV says Rashford's motive as a professional footballer is to secure the bag. Lap dance. He hasn't given a shit after signing that contract. Man hasn't played in how long, and we're still talking about him. Why? He ain't going nowhere. So, says the Black Red. Well, the reason why we're talking about him, the Black Red, is because that's the news, brother. That's the news. If Fabrizio Romano is saying that, AC Milan are thinking about making an approach, a lot of the credible journalists are talking about an approach being made for Rashford and Italy looking like his most likely destination from Laurie Whitwell. These are credible people, bro. And Rashford's not played a game for us in about 5-6 games. So guess what, bro? It's news. You can't not talk about it. And the transfer window's open. Like, that's the news, brother. That's why we're talking about him. I don't get this, like, why are we talking about him? We're talking about him because he's available for transfer, bro. All Elite says, come on, people, have you hit the like button yet? Let's show the channel a bit of support. Where are we at with that? We're nearly at 1,000 people watching live this early, which is very good. So shout out each and every single one of you. 154 likes. Let's get to 200, peeps. Let's get to 200. Let's get the super chats read out as well. I read out the first one. Aminor says, Fleck, don't you ever our manager tactics again, bro. Question the manager's tactics again. Well, like I said, Aminor, I've already been nailed to the cross and stoned and abused. So basically, you can say I've taken my punishment. We can all move on. I should not have basically suggested that he changes anything. I said you can start by, not playing Casemiro and Eriksen next to each other, which he hasn't done that. I did say at the time, ironically, he could start by not playing Martinez, which everybody agreed with, but he went on to have a great game against Liverpool. Said you can tweak some things out of possession, but ultimately, to be fair, like Amarim said, to be fair, it's not about the system. It's about this. It's about this, and it's about this with the players' application, which is why he was mad. So, yeah, I think it's much ado about nothing, really. I think people just heard like he might need to tweak something and thought I said he needs to forget all his ideas and don't do anything, which is not what I said. So yeah, let's see. Let's see when we get to Arsenal if they stick to the same principles. You know what I'm saying? Rochelle says, Flex, what's your thoughts on Hojlund? Is he better than Zirkzee? It's I don't know. They both got different qualities, right? Or different attributes, should I say, but they're both not good enough for us. Yeah. So Zirkzee as a number 9 for us, I think is too passive. I don't think that his movement is always towards the ball. So he's not a box striker. He's not going to look to run a channel. He's not going to look to run in behind, which in a team that is still trying to find its feet and is not a high possession team. We got some misleading stats with possession. I think Zirkzee is not the right guy for us up front. And obviously his confidence is low and he hasn't been good. And the pace is just eating him up. So even when he's played in the 10, he also hasn't looked great. Hojlund also isn't good enough to lead the line for Man United. Obviously, he's only 20. They're both fairly young. I think Zirkzee's a couple of years older than Hojlund. How old is Zirkzee actually? Is Zirkzee 22? How old is Zirkzee? Get my facts right. Oh, Zirkzee's 23. There you go. I didn't even know that. I thought he was 22. But that's just it. I think Zirkzee he struggles with the pace of the Premier League. Erasmus is 21 now, so I feel like they both got deficiencies in their game which don't suit us. Do you know what I mean? Rasmus Hojlund isn't able to hold the ball up. He hasn't got a feel for the game in terms of, like, strikers can have a feel for the game of like when to drop in, how to take the ball on the back foot with a defender to hold off, when to set the ball, when to release, he just doesn't have that. He just doesn't have that feel. But someone put up something on X yesterday, which was really interesting, right? And they said that, Victor Gyökeres I don't know if you guys saw this tweet. It's a good tweet, actually. Victor Gyökeres at 20 was getting, 0 goals in 13 games at Coventry. Or was it even Brighton? I can't remember. I think it might have been Brighton. They said that someone like, who was it? Zlatan at that age was, again, the numbers weren't great. Lewandowski, they said, again, the numbers weren't great at that time. They said not everyone's a freak of nature like Haaland. And was basically saying that he, just players need time to develop at 20, 21, going on 22, Rasmus. There's a lot of time for him to develop. But the problem is that we need shit now. And the problem is that we've had a big outlay on him. Excuse me. The problem is we've had a big outlay on him. So when you have that big outlay on such a important player, the one who's supposed to be a bagsman, and also when you put that player into the limelight and make them your main striker, which he never should have been, and if he's not ready, this is what you get. You know what I'm saying? This is what you get. And we do revere them to players that, look, when they were 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and they were top draw, it's very rare that that happens. We have to also be honest with that. Someone said, how old was Fabregas when he debuted? Wasn't he like 16, 17 as well? You can't, not every player is going to be that. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, now when I say this, I have to put the caveats on this. Obviously, he's not anywhere near Mo Salah. But what was Mo Salah doing when he was 19, 20? Mo Salah didn't really arrive until he went to Liverpool midway through his 20s, right? So, you know, look at Kevin De Bruyne for the first part of his career when he was in Germany, when he was at Chelsea. Didn't really work till he went to City. So I'm not saying where Show, this is the bit where Show enters the chat. Show says that Rasmus is better than Kevin De Bruyne and Mo Salah, confirmed. I'm not saying that, obviously, but I do get when people are like, this kid needs time. So if he needs time, he basically shouldn't be our starting striker now. We need somebody who's ready-made. We need someone who's top of top. And like TV Chill says, but it's 75 million though. Exactly. Hojlund should never have been bought for 75 million. Ridiculous. You're just setting that kid up to fail. He was a 20 to 30 million pound player. The same as when Nicholas Jackson came in from Villarreal, 30 mil. 30 mil. That's what he should be. Max as well. That's with add-ons. You know what I mean? He should 75 M's and all that. But some people think, listen, we'll be laughing at that price in years to come when we've got a proper striker on our hands. But right now, I just don't see him being that guy. I don't see him being that guy. I really don't. He's got a lot to work on, but he needs time. He needs time. But yes, where are we for likes as well? We're at 223. We're nearly at 1,200 people watching as well. Let's get to 500. We're nearly halfway there. Let's get that 250 in the bag, peeps. Let's keep liking up the thing. Let's keep going and see what we can do there. Let's get on to Casemiro. Aminor says, I feel both Mount and Shaw are stealing the wage as well. Just comes through with a super chat. I mean, I did see an update that Luke Shaw is back from injury this month as well, whatever that means. So, well, it means nothing is what it means. It means absolutely nothing. He ain't going to play. So might have a couple of games here or there at left centre back, and then he's going to pop down with another injury as well. But I hear you on that. We need the strong 500 likes community. Exactly. We'll be over the moon if we get this 500 in the bag straight away. Let's get to Casemiro. Because this is one where it's very interesting because Casemiro is the highest paid player at the club. That deal has been a disaster. He gave us a good first year. I'm not going to lie about that. Not going to rewrite history, but the return on investment and the value in that transfer was just absolutely terrible. And Jason Burt from the Telegraph said, Man United are keen to sign a midfield replacement for Casemiro, and moving him on would help fund that. Also, there's reports saying that Al Nassr are back in for Casemiro this January in the transfer window. Saudi club are willing to sell, waiting to sell to Talisca, because I think he's going to go to Fenerbahce, isn't he? Because they are at the quota for the foreign players, which is why we thought this deal probably couldn't happen. But Talisca's move out to Fenerbahce looks like it could open up some positions there, or at least one. And there's a lot of talk about Ronaldo sort of co-signing that at Al Nassr, and a lot of reports are basically saying that Casemiro is open to that switch in January as well. So look, we have to understand where we're at. John Cross from the Mirror says Saudi pro clubs expect to be busy in the transfer window, and that will also ensure that the Premier League transfer window could see a dramatic rise in spending this month. Players and their representatives are already expecting a raft of big money moves this month. Manchester United, Arsenal, Tottenham are all on the lookout for deals this month. Ruben Amorim wants to use the window to get players in and out, which obviously we know all about him wanting to get players out. And there was another one on Casemiro that was from Crookie, I believe. I mean, Crookie did tweet. I should have asked him actually. He did say, I didn't say, there was something that someone said. He said, I didn't say this, but I hope it's true. But Casemiro could earn around 650 grand a week at El Nassr. We know that's going to be true. Currently earns around 350 grand a week. And the Times, shout out to Charlotte Dunker. She's done a piece with Paul Hurst as well. Shout out to Paul. They done a piece sort of saying Saudi Pro League has been alerted of the availability of Casemiro, who has let it be known that it would be open to leaving Manchester United this month. I've got their piece as well. They said Saudi Pro League has been alerted to availability of Casemiro. Clubs in Saudi Arabia declared an interest in the 32-year-old Brazilian last summer, but were unable to strike a deal for the midfielder and moved on to other options. Now, after falling down the pecking order under Ruben Amorim, Casemiro has let it be known that he would be open to leaving Old Trafford in the present transfer window. He has started only 3 Premier League games under Amorim, and his form has been on the decline since the end of his debut season, which, like I said, in the first season, he was good. 5 times Champions League winner, was an unused sub in Sunday's draw against Liverpool when Amorim opted to use Manuel Ugarte. Manuel Ugarte and Kobbie Mainoo. All 4 clubs owned by Saudi Arabia's PIF fund, private investment fund, have reached their limit for foreign players. 10 are allowed per squad, and 2 of them must be under the age of 20 when they join. But one of them could sell one of their allocation to make way for Casemiro, whose signing would be a coup for the league. The Saudi transfer window closes on the 30th of January, 4 days before the English window. Al Nassr have 4 Brazilians on their books, and they are captained by, of course, Cristiano Ronaldo. If Casemiro leaves for Saudi, it would help United fund new signings during the transfer window. Budgets are tight at Old Trafford, and Casemiro is one of the club's most expensive players. He's the most. He earns more than 325 grand a week under terms of his contract, which has 18 months left to run. United have made the left wing-back position a priority during the transfer window and are interested in PSG player Nuno Mendes, although he's wanted by other clubs. We'll get to Nuno Mendes in a minute. But basically, the interest is there. Shouts to Mikel, yeah. The interest is there. The interest is there. And we've always known all along, we've said from the very, very start, when we started to realize that this Casemiro thing wasn't going to be a thing anymore. We realized that in the second season, didn't we, really quickly? We realized that the only people that were going to be able to bail us out of this, right, is Saudi Arabia. It's Saudi. They're the only people who could offer him more. The only people who could offer him more money, substantially more money. Reports are saying double, which you could imagine. They're the only team that and Casemiro at this part of his career, it's really the only viable option. Really, there's no one in Europe that's going to take Casemiro. You know, even if he was less money, you would go like, what does it look like? Shout out people in the chat. A lot of people talking about Douglas Luiz with that. Douglas. He's apparently again, I was working on Sky yesterday. There's 2 Premier League clubs that are interested in him. It has not worked out under Motta at Juventus. He can't nail down a starting place, so he's looking to come back. Would I have him? Absolutely. Because the problem is, right, when we look at what our starting team is now, we all know that it should be Kobbie Mainoo and Manuel Ugarte as the 2 6s or 2 8s, whatever you want to call them in this system, yeah? And when we make subs to the 10s, because we're scarce of those in quality as well, because Ahmad and Bruno are the 2 10s, when we have to take one player off because they can't play all the games, but Bruno usually can, you put Bruno back into that area alongside Ugarte. But we're one injury away or one substitution away from not having that quality. You know, Casemiro is not good enough anymore at this level, and neither is Christian Eriksen. And they're the other 2 options to come in that 6th position /8, the pivot, and look what happened against Liverpool, against Newcastle. They will never play again together for Man United. After that, they will never play again. And luckily, we got a week between games. Well, the last couple of weeks anyway. Had a full week's training for Liverpool. We saw the difference. And we got 4 weeks training for Arsenal. So, in my opinion, that team that started against Liverpool should be pretty much the same. That, you know, we should be coming out of that period where there was a game every 3 days and you really have to rotate loads. Obviously, you have to rotate some people. It'd be nice if Lenny Yoro could get a start against Arsenal. He definitely deserved that. But if we're being honest, that continuity in the central midfield areas needs to stay the same, because the drop off, the drop off in quality from Kobbie Mainoo and Ugarte, who are still finding their feet as a pairing, but the drop off from them to Casemiro and Eriksen is way too big. It's way too big. So if Casemiro leaves, we have to go and get another central midfielder, like what that piece is saying. He needs to replace him because it's a body. It's just a body we can't rely on, and a body. No disrespect to Casemiro, that we don't want to play. Like against Newcastle, he was absolutely terrible, and also Casemiro is a player that, let's be honest, at this age, when he's playing this intermittently, like what Eriksen is doing, these guys aren't going to come in and do anything. They've got no match rhythm. They've got no. They're not being rotated consistently. They're going long periods without any minutes, and then the Newcastle game they had to get thrusted in. Which, after what we saw, Amorim will never make that mistake again. And he even said, was it whatever interview we done before the Liverpool game or just after the Newcastle games? He'd done a sit down with Sky, and he was like, yeah, with the way even before the game, you saw Gamirez, Joe Linton, and Gamirez, Joe Linton, and who's the other one? Tonali. And he said, yeah, I accept that criticism, and you see the two with ours. We had to do some things to mask that deficiency, which we didn't do. So he's not stupid. He will never play those two again. So Casemiro, it will be someone, and obviously he hasn't been playing him. Like I said, he's made 2 starts. So he has to go. I think those 2 starts, what was that? The first game against Ipswich and that one against Newcastle. I think that's the 2 starts. He ain't playing. So we have to look to try and move him on. I really, really hope Saudi come in. They're the only people that can help us. And Casemiro is not stupid. He knows he ain't going to go and get big money anywhere else in the world apart from there. That's why we're getting those reports saying he's available. He's wanting to move out there, and he'll be fine out there. Go play out there. You know what I'm saying? That's what he needs. Amanor says, oh no, he's read that already. And Joe Lobo says, our best transfer fee is Mazraoui in recent times. All other young players, including Zirkzee, Hojlund, should be like Ahmad, max, one for the future. Well, Zirkzee was about that, innit? Zirkzee was like 35 to 40 million, wasn't he really? The Hojlund one is the one that's just indescribable, like undescribable amounts of money. Like he really, really is. Not good enough. Like the fee that we spent on him was just ludicrous. It really, really was. Where are we at with the likes? Where are we at? 308. Keep pushing. We're nearly at 1,400 people watching live, guys. There's no reason why we shouldn't be at 500. If you haven't done it, put your coffee down, put your hot chocolate down, put your breakfast down for just 8 seconds. 8 seconds, and just hit the like button. There you go. It's rising up again now. Everyone's remembering to do it. Please do hit the like button for the solo stream. We want to get to the 500. You know what I'm saying? That's what we need to do. But when Joel said there, our best transfer fee is Mazraoui in recent times. It is. What was he? 12 million. He definitely is. WJ Barrett coming through as well. Big up to you, my guy. WJ Barrett says, cast to Saudi, Rash to PSG, Louise and Mendes, buy Mawani, loan. That will keep us till summer, when we get Emerson, Gyökeres, and a few more, and we will be fire. You've got it all worked out, WJ Barrett. He's got it all worked out. But with that, though, I mean, look, we do have to be creative, and if we're being honest, I'm going to get to Antony a little bit and Mendes in a little while as well, and touch on Zirkzee a bit. There's a lot to still get through. It is about how many players we can shift out, though. I know I'm joking saying WJ Barrett's got it all worked out. It might not work out perfectly as that. But if you're looking at Rashford, that's very viable that he leaves. You're looking at Casemiro, it's very viable that he leaves. And you're looking at Antony, it's very viable that he leaves. Maybe not to Olympiacos. I think the noises are that he doesn't really want to go there. But maybe, just maybe, that's 3. Could there be more that goes? The problem is who's going to come in for someone like Christian Eriksen in this window? Now, his contract's up in the summer for free. Same with Johnny Evans. I saw there's some reports saying that Rangers were interested in Johnny Evans. You might get, and because we have to be, honest, we might get some teams sort of seeing a really cheap option to be able to get the likes of a Johnny Evans or Christian Eriksen for a couple of mil, like really, really cheap. Really, really cheap. If someone came in for Christian Eriksen with 6 months left on his deal because he's going in the summer, what sort of money would that be? It'd be like 1-2 million tops, if that. I'm not going to disgrace him and say it'll be like X amount, 100 grand, but it'll be a couple of million at best. If someone came in for Johnny Evans, You don't even let TV deal says 500k. That's what I'm saying. You're looking at you are looking at them kind of figures, but at least 1 mil. Johnny Evans is different. What is he? 36, I think, 37. Is he even going to play next year? So would they be loans? Would someone take Johnny Evans on loan to the end of the season? But you know, I just don't know if they'll rock the boat that much, because if we get injuries and we don't have enough players in that position, then we're in trouble, because it's not really going to be enough to go and get another centre half during this window. Gavalacia says Ericsson for £5 and a packet of Smarties. Very, very rude. So look, back to Casemiro. We know he's got to go. Let's hope that Saudi sort out their quota, because they are at the quota for the foreign players at the moment. But this Talisca deal, like I said, I'm pretty sure he's looking to go to Fenerbahce. I've seen Romano tweeting about that quite a lot. So yeah, let's have a wait and see about that. The Joshua Zirkzee stuff was interesting yesterday, guys, because that came out when I was on Sky as well. And you know, there are a lot of suitors, a lot of people who are interested in him. David Ornstein said that there is interest for Joshua Zirkzee from clubs in Europe and the Premier League. However, at present, he has no plans to leave. He doesn't want to go. You know, he intends to stay at Man United this window, fight for his place. So there's a lot coming out about Joshua Zirkzee and the fact that he doesn't want to go. Now, look, we big up you, Louis. Louis says big up Flex, big up to you, Louis. We can like want him to leave. We can, you know, rather get the money and get a player who's more suited. But there is an element. There is an element, and I have to be honest. And I'm not just saying this on sentiment, like because he had a tough day at Newcastle, and you know, everyone's singing his name at Liverpool, which is what's always going to happen. The away fans would always, you know, back their own. The hardcore fans always do, until it gets really, really toxic. If the away fans turn and you know something's wrong. But he probably needs more time. You know what I mean? He probably needs more time. I'm not convinced. I haven't been convinced, but I do feel uncomfortable writing somebody off who's come in, new league, new club, new team, and then the manager's changed and it's just utter chaos. Now, don't get me wrong. I will call out his performances. I will call out the deficiencies that I see until I see them change. But I do think he needs a while longer. And you know what? At least it shows that there's a player there who really wants to make it here. Because we're talking about players who want to be on the right path, the right trajectory. Of course, we need quality and we need to believe they're good enough. But it starts with their ambition, right? It starts with, you know, he could take the easy route out and go back to Italy. He can go back with his manager who's just with Bologna, in Motta, and go to Juve. You know, there's other teams that want him in Italy, so he's used to the league. He can go back there and go back to his comfort zone and go, right, I went to Man United for 6 months and I failed and I left. But it shows that there's a willingness in there to make it here. And apparently, from what we're being told as well, that Ruben Amorim is happy to work with him. Don't get me wrong, he hasn't started him in loads of games and he brings him on really late. He's not fancying him as the main guy. So we have to say that if Ruben Amorim could, you know, have a different player or choose to buy a player when Zirkzee wasn't here, he probably wouldn't have gone and bought someone like Zirkzee. But I think at least to the summer, I think you give him that. And you know what? I think like Majestic says there, he has to have at least a year. I think with all the changes that have gone on, it'd be unfair, even though he's been playing poorly, it's still unfair to just write him off and say, absolutely not. You can go off your gut, you can go off your early feelings, you can have these opinions of, not really sure, you know, I don't think that's gonna work. But you have to be honest and say it's been awful here. Who has been good in this time? The team's 13th, guys, or whatever we are now, 14th, 13th, I lose track. We're 14th/13th. So you can't really judge. And the manager's gone and a new manager's come in, and we've been losing back-to-back games, and the confidence is shocking. So I think it's really really harsh to dash him out in January. The only way that, again, because I'm not operating off sentiment here, if it did happen, if he did say, listen, this ain't for me, and you know, Ruben Amorim was like, yeah, you know, for Josh, we just think it's best to get a move out. We want to go, and they had someone ready-made. It's a different type of profile. You have to be ruthless. I'd be upset for him, but we have to be ruthless. It's the club over everything. But what I'm saying is that because the reports are saying that he wants to stay and fight for his place, that's a player who's committed to our football club. That's a player who wants to make it. That's a player who understands that he's had some really tough moments, an embarrassing moment against Newcastle. You know, the fans didn't, those fans that were booing him, I don't agree with that. I think that was really, really poor behavior by them. I apologize, you know, when I like sort of snapped on that stream and I was like, oh, you ogre, I should have said that. I shouldn't do that. And actually, I won't do that again. I know, like, look, we all lose our heads a little bit, and it's not like squeaky clean. We can swear on here, we can express ourselves, a natural reaction, and it's not like I do it all the time. But still, I didn't like it. Left a bit of a sour taste, the fact that he went on to get booed, and I know I was on that stream like, no, you own, like that's not me. So I didn't like that. So I just reflected on that, and I was like, yeah, just give the kid a break. It ain't going well for him, bless him. He ain't got no confidence. But let's wait and see. Give the kid to the end of the season. Let's let the team calm down. Let's get more training sessions in. Let's see if we can add players in January that make us a better team. That someone like Joshua Zirkzee, when he does play, can be all right. And if we get to the end of the season and he's not done it, then we can have that conversation then. And it's true. When we was talking with Saeed yesterday, we afforded Rasmus Hojlund. Rasmus Hojlund went, what, 14 games without scoring last year, didn't he? In a league, something stupid like that. He was scoring in the Champions League though. But we said we need to give this kid a full season, you know, and that's what we have to do. That's what we have to do with Zirkzee. But if the right money come in and he wants to leave, then so be it. I'm not saying like he must not leave, but it is what it is. Joel says, "Oh no, I read all them super chats already." So let's see about that. Where we at? Come on, peeps, where we at? Yes, 409. Okay, this is more like it. 81 away. Let's get. There you go. 410. 410. Sorry, 90 likes away. Let's get 90 likes in there. We're nearly at 1,500 people watching as well, so we're still going up. Let's get to that all magic number. I need to see that, peeps. I need to see that 500 and some as well. I'm only staying at 500 because I'm being humble. Yeah. Michael says we'll beat Arsenal. Don't know about that. We'll give him a good game though. It's the most calm I've been going into Arsenal in a little while. Not because we've turned it around all of a sudden, but just they've dropped off a little bit. And, you know, the type of performance we put in against Liverpool, if we can play anything near that away at Arsenal, we'll give them problems. Might still go out just, probably. I think probably will just. But we'll give them a good game. I'm definitely not as scared as I was like before when going there. Do you know what I mean? Nuno Mendes. Interesting. Dean Jones says Man United are aiming to sign a left wing back in the coming days instead of allowing their search to drag on, which is exactly what we want to hear. The club intend for this to be a defining week in getting someone on board. Interesting. Fabrizio Romano said Man United have added, how do you say it? Lesse? Left wing back, Lesse? That team? Left wing back, Patrick Dorgu. To their list. Milos Kerkez, obviously at Bournemouth, and Nuno Mendes are higher on the list, but more expensive, which obviously we do know. And Jason Burt from the Telegraph says Man United are pushing for a deal to bring in Nuno Mendes. Ruben Amorim wants to make Mendes his first signing at United. The deal will be difficult to finalize this month, with PSG hoping he will stay. And there was another bit here as well. Plettenberg, my good friend. Plettenberg says there's been contact between Man United and Nuno Mendes' management. United remains strongly interested in a summer transfer, but 3 other clubs are also pursuing Mendes, and PSG want to keep him. So this situation is not really like the ones where it's a player who's out of favor, a player who can't really get in the team. He just wants to get out of there. PSG want this player. You know, it's not like how it was with Ugarte. It's not like how it is with Kolo Muani. These players are surplus. You know, they want to get rid of these players. Mendes is in demand. He's a very good wing back. Very good wing back, or left back at the moment, but very good wing back he could be. Absolutely direct, pace, fast, good in the final third. Very, very fit, athletic. Exactly, he would be exactly what we need. Let's be honest. That profile, you know, it could be easily what we need. Michael says Nuno Mendes is class, so we get him. Of course, like that's what I'm saying. That we need that type. Obviously, Robinson at Fulham, 8 Nuri at Wolves, and someone like Kirkes. These guys are gonna oh, Lecce. Is that how you say? Oh, Lecce. Lecce. That's how you say it. Okay, you've had to see. I didn't know how you say that. I've never known how you pronounce that team's name. Lecce. But that Dorgu, I don't know anything about him. I think he's Danish, isn't he? But this is this is the profile. It's all about the profile. You know, the scouts can find players that I can't really pronounce the name of the team and all of that. I don't really mind. I just trust that Ruben now, you know, when we talk, I hate this term. It's so annoying because it just become the new term. It just gave me the ick, but talent ID. But the talent identification ability, yeah, how about that, of Ruben Amorim. This is where it has to kick in because, and Ineos need to match that with him because Ruben Amorim will know exactly what type of wing back he wants. He knows his system. He's sticking to his principles. He's very, very clear on his idea. Very, very clear. It's all he ever talks about, which we love. He's clear on his idea. He's clear on his ideologies, and he's clear on what he wants from his players and the attributes they need to have. But yeah, I hear you, Lil Yo-Yo. Terrible, terrible term. Talent ID. Don't know. I hate it. But everyone says it. But Ineos need to match that. Ineos need to get involved and get him that. So, you know, to hear that this could be a defining week and they really want to get people in and be aggressive, that's what we want to hear. That is what we want to hear. It's getting very, very busy. Samuel Lutka says, Man United sources close to Manuel Ugarte say Manuel Ugarte is always one of the last to leave Carrington and is also undertaking additional gym sessions after. All right, okay, I'll get to that. I was thinking he might have broke some news there. Oh, they're close. Okay, no transfer news. Just about how good Ugarte is. We'll do that at the end. But Nuno Mendes, big thumbs up. Listen, I know there were rumors about the Alphonso Davies thing. That ain't gonna happen. And if it in the summer, let's be real, he ain't gonna want to come here. Nuno Mendes will be a lot of takers for him. But please, we have to get a left wing back, man. We have to. We really, really do. If we don't, we're just going to continue to see the problems that we've been seeing. And I agree with Syed. Like, I do think that the left back and another 10 is probably just more important than the 9, only because of what balance that brings to the team. Now, obviously, we have to get a 9. We've got a lot of priorities. We've got a lot of priorities. And the hardest thing to do in football is to score goals. So if we can get the right level of number 9 or to the end of the season or something that will bolster us, I'm all for that. Something to the end of the season, I'm definitely for that. But that left wing back will make such a difference. And if we get another midfielder as well. Another midfielder, like I said, like if Casemiro leaves, because the problem is that as soon as Kobe Mainoo can't play all the games, Ugarte's as fit as he is, he's doing extra gym work, says Samuel Lutkers. These guys can't play every single game 90 minutes. And as soon as the only viable change that doesn't give us too much of a drop off, and depending on what game it is, you don't know, but is putting Bruno back there and changing the 10. You know what I mean? That's really the only viable option because that's what we did against Liverpool. You ain't trying to bring on Eriksen against them. You're not trying to bring on Casemiro for his experience at Anfield and, you know, calm the game down. You can't do it anymore. These guys can't do that job anymore. You know, unless we, no disrespect, got an easy game at home in the Carabao Cup well, we're not in that anymore actually. But say we got past Arsenal, we got an easy home tie in the FA Cup. You can maybe play Casemiro, but other than that, we can't do it. Like we need so much more quality, and it's only really Bruno who can go back in there and play all right. So really, in this window, again, if we can, a new midfielder would be perfect as well. But if Casemiro leaves, that's a definite must. If he doesn't, then he doesn't. We're not going to be able to do anything in that area. But definitely a forward of some sort, either a 9 or one of the 2 10s. And the wing backs, man, we just have to get a wing back because I just can't. I just can't keep seeing it. I mean, it was an anomaly yesterday. On Sunday with what Dalot did to Trent. Like that just doesn't normally happen. Also, what the anomaly was Bruno playing that flipping well. By the way, you know, if anything, we were talking more about Bruno because he hadn't played that well in so long. And Bruno was talking about that himself. He said, "Fine, you know, I did a proper performance. Or it was my best performance in a while, or something to words of that effect." So if we're that shocked that Bruno's played that good, that shows us that he's not being consistent. So we do have to keep a bit of balance to our praise because, you know, the game before last, the game before last, Newcastle, Bruno wasn't there because of the game before that. He was flipping stupid against Wolves, and he's got 3 red cards this year. When I was in, what game did he get sent off in? Was it Porto or was it Fenerbahce? It was Porto, innit? Was it Porto? I was there. I was in the stands. I was like, Bruno sent off. There you go. Was it Porto, guys? Who did Bruno get sent off against in Europe? I swear it was Porto. Fenerbahce, Ericsson scored. Was it Porto? Yeah, it was Porto, Kristen said. Sent off against Porto, you know. Was he in Turkey? Huh? Which game did Bruno get sent off in? Is it? I can't remember which one it was. I'm sure it was Porto. I'm sure it was Porto. And like Lil Yo says, of course, against Tottenham. So that's his 3 red cards. And the Tottenham one on Maddison, yeah, he it's a bit of a slip. It was a bit of a slip. It was a bit of a, but he did try to trip him up as well. But yeah, Porto high foot. That was it. He went in on was it on the goalkeeper or he went in on a player? But yeah, high foot, which he was never really going to get to that ball. That was it. I remember going crazy. I was like, why has he done that? Why has he done that? So Bruno hasn't been good this season at all. So our praise of him for how good he was against Liverpool should happen because of the 90 minutes he was, you know, arguably the best player on the pitch, along with Ugarte, along with Harry Maguire, along with quite a few. But he needs to put that in every week. Like Roy Keane saying, it's easy to, you know, turn up against Liverpool with passion and desire and show a little bit. But when we got to be on the front foot at home against Southampton and take the game to them and we can't sit back in the 5-4-1, what are we saying then? The Tottenham one rescinded. Did that get rescinded, that one, in the end? Oh, it did, didn't it? Oh, yeah, I mean, it did get rescinded, but we were so mad. We were so mad at him because he'd been playing rubbish. We were like, oh, no, what? We may as well leave him out. It did get rescinded. It wasn't 3 red cards. That is true, actually. It did get rescinded. I forgot about that. But you see, the reason why we forgot about it, or I'll speak for me. The reason I forgot about it is because he hasn't been good. He hasn't been good. So it was almost like we're playing without him anyway. But then, yeah, the one against Wolves was criminal. Straight after half time, you know, it's 0-0. We haven't played well. We should have probably been 1-0 down already. And he comes straight out and does that. So what my point is Bruno needed that performance. So we can't act like he does that all the time. Our shock was the fact that Bruno actually played that well. So he needs to get it. Flex, when we saw it live at OT, how can we forget it? Oh, yeah, the turn. Oh, God. Them goals that were just flying in, bro. Them goals are just flying in against Spurs. I was just like, that should have been 6. It really should have been 6. If I'm honest. Let's talk about Antony for a little bit as well. Just there's a few things on him. Talking about Olympiacos, the Mail, Simon Jones is reporting that Olympiacos want Antony on loan from United. The deal for Antony to Olympiacos on loan is not fully off, but it is very complicated. That's from Plettenberg as well. So there's a little bit on Antony with some interest from Greece. Now, listen, I feel like that's another one that would definitely look at a move. Again, can we subsidize much of his wages? I don't know. It depends. This is where Ineos have to get creative. How willing are they going to be to get players out, you know, and get wages covered so that it frees up some of the wage bills so we can bring some players in? Antony also is another body. And if he leaves, he needs replacing. He needs replacing. I know he doesn't ever play pretty much, hardly ever. You know, he started in the right 10 against Spurs. He's right in front of me in the first half. And I was just like, what is this? Terrible. Him and Mazraoui on that side just couldn't get anything going. We now know that obviously the best thing for us to do in the meantime is to have Mazraoui right wing back and have and Ahmad in the 10 because it's just better for the balance of the team. We were saying put Ahmad back because we don't have any wing backs who can attack, but I think if we get the balance right, we get the application right, we still need to have Ahmad in that inside 10 for me. But yeah, Antony's one that could leave, and I think we have to, if he does go, like Leo says there, the left wing back replaces Antony, in my opinion. So we have to really, really work at these deals. Hopefully, and this is not me being like dread or anything, but I'm just being honest. Hopefully, Antony's had a look at it and has a bit about him to say, I just want to go play some football. I'm not getting in here. I ain't going to get in here. And hopefully the right suitors come for him. It might not be Greece, but I just hope that people around Europe, I did read some stuff about Ajax coming back in for him. Simon McGill says loan with obligation is needed. Yeah, we do want some of these obligations to be kicking in, but it's just hard in January. I think that there's going to be a lot of sort of either we have to do short-term loans to the end of the season because the players we've let go are only on short-term deals until the end of the season themselves, so they're going to come back and be our players, or we get obligations with players so that we can sign players permanently now, or loan players with obligations now for incomings. So it's all of these things, you know. TV for us, it's better give us our money back. That ain't happening. It's all of these things that are happening where you're going, right, hang on a minute. It depends what player gets what deal. If Marcus Rashford gets a permanent deal and we get 40 million in the bank right now, we are laughing. 100% profit for PSR. And we can reinvest that money straight back into the squad instantly. That's brilliant. That's the best case scenario. The best case scenario is that Rashford goes to AC Milan for 40 million now. But it's just not going to happen, is it? Loans are going to be our best friend. Loans, obligations, or options are going to be our best friends. Let's be honest. And even just straight loans until the end of the season just to get through. So, Flex, would you sign Kante? Yes, I would. I always say that. Until that guy retires, I would always sign him. So yeah, let's see what happens. We're busy. We're trying. Where are we at with the likes as well? 508. Well done, peeps. Should really be more though. We could have got to 650, 750, but I allow you lot. Shout out everyone watching. We've got Flex and KG show tonight live at 7 p.m. So make sure you guys join that. I'm sure throughout the day stuff will happen. If something major happens, we'll bring it to you live, of course. If not, we will be with you at 7 p.m. Me and KG will go through anything that happens between now and then transfer wise in the lead up to Arsenal as well. Arsenal playing tonight against Newcastle. Big game. So we'll finish our live just before that game starts. I'm pretty sure we'll want to keep an eye on that as well. Simon McGill says, great show, everyone. Smash it on the way out. Yeah, smash a like on the way out from UV fam as well. So big up to each and every single one of you. I'm out of here. Take care. Peace.